Dear students, today we are going to discuss about refraction of light. In this chapter till now we discussed about reflection of light and various images formations by spherical mirrors and their uses. So what is refraction of light? Refraction is the change in direction of light when it passes from one medium to another. This is the definition that when light travels obliquely means at an angle to the surface from one transparent medium to another, it changes its direction. This phenomena of light is called refraction of light. So, what is the cause of refraction? The cause of refraction is the change in the speed of light when it goes from one transparent medium to another transparent medium. As in ninth class also we discussed about that speed is equal to speed is equal to frequency multiplied by wavelength, v equal to nu lambda. This formula we have learned there. So the speed of light is related with its frequency and wavelength. So when ray of light goes from one transparent medium to another, its frequency do not change. So the speed of light is directly proportional to the wavelength of light, and as speed of light is changing, then the wavelength is also changing. So if in some numericals, if it is given that the wavelength of light is this much and according to that you have to solve the question, then you have to place wavelength in place of speed. We will do some numericals related to that also. So for the refraction of light, there are some rules. As rule number 1, that is when light ray travels from rarer to denser, the refracted ray bends towards the normal, as this is the incident ray, and when it falls on the surface of water, then it would have gone like this, but no, it is not going in this direction, but it is bending towards the normal and it is going in this direction. This surface, imaginary surface, which is perpendicular to this air water interface, is known as normal. This air water interface means this is the boundary between air and water, and this is incident ray along which the ray of light is coming. This is normal, and the angle between incident ray and normal is angle of incidence, and this is refracted ray, bending ray, and the angle between this normal and refracted ray is angle of refraction. So as this angle is smaller as compared to this angle, so we can say in case of when ray of light is going from rarer to denser, the angle of incidence is more as compared to angle of refraction. The rule number 2, that when the light ray travels from denser to rarer, the refracted ray bends away from the normal. So if this incident ray is coming from water and it is going in the air, so it would have gone like this, but no, it is not going in this direction, but it is going away from the normal. So this angle between incident ray and normal is angle of incidence, and this is the angle between normal and refracted ray. This angle is angle of refraction. So in this case we can say that angle of refraction is more than the angle of incidence when ray of light is going from denser medium to rarer medium. Now rule number 3, that if light ray enter another medium perpendicular to the boundary, so the ray does not bend. Now you can understand that in definition we have used that when ray of light falls obliquely means at an angle, then it changes the its direction. But when ray of light enter perpendicular to the surface, this is surface and this is perpendicular incident ray, then it goes straightway it will not bend from its path. No doubt its velocity, its speed will change as it is going from air to glass, means rarer to denser. So its speed is decreasing, but it will not bend from its path. And in such type of cases, as angle I is 0, so angle R will also 0, as it is not bending from the path. Now, laws of refraction of light. The incident ray, the refracted ray and normal to the interface of two transparent media at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. And second is the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is a constant. So this sine of angle, you will be reading in mathematics in trigonometry, and for the meantime you just remember here it by heart, that angle of incidence of sine of angle of incidence divided by sine of angle of refraction, it is a constant term for a given pair of media and for a given particular color of light. So their ratio is constant, and this constant term is known as refractive index. So refractive index is a term which is giving the ratio of sine of angle of incidence and angle of refraction. Let us study about optical density. So the ability of medium to refracted light is also expressed in terms of its optical density. It is not as the mass density. Optical density is related with refractive index. More the optical density of a medium, more will be its refractive index and less will be the speed of light in that particular medium. So as we are saying ki optical density is not same as mass density. As we know what is mass density, this is equal to mass per unit volume, and optical density is a term which is linked with the speed of light. So these terms are not same, that if object have more mass density it will have more optical density. It is not always true, because we can take an example, kerosene. Kerosene have higher refractive index, is optically denser than water, although its mass density is less than water, because we have noticed that if we mix water and kerosene, then kerosene will float over water. So it means mass density of kerosene is less than the water, but its optical density is more than water. So this question can come in your exam, that give an example of a material whose optical density is more but mass density is less than water. So you have to remember this example. Next is, what is refractive index? It is a number which tells about to which extent the speed of light changes when it goes from one medium to another transparent medium. It do not have any unit, as it is the ratio of two similar kind of quantities. Let us discuss about refractive index. If we say refractive index, it means absolute refractive index, and we can say that the ray of light is going from air or vacuum to the other medium. We take vacuum or air because the speed of light is nearly equal in vacuum and air. So we can take vacuum as compared to air and so on. So if we are saying refractive index, it means absolute refractive index, and it means that out of two materials, one medium is air or vacuum. And for writing the formula of refractive index, we will write, we will use the symbol n, and subscript we will write m. M is medium. So whatever the medium we are taking, we will write here. Then it will be the formula that speed of light in air divided by speed of light in medium. The refractive index of which material we are taking, that material is, we have to write in denominator, and the speed of light will be in numerator. And as it is the ratio, so it do not have any unit, it is a number. It tells about that how much times the speed of light in a given medium is decreased as compared to the speed of light in air. But if out of these two medium, it is not necessary that it should be air, that the light always goes from air to glass or water, or from water to air. The ray of light can go from water to glass, it can go from glass to diamond, and so on. In that case, we take a term that is relative refractive index. In that case, we will write the formula that relative refractive index of medium 2 with respect to medium 1, and we represent it like this. So n 2 1, it means we are writing 2 next to n, then it is the refractive index of medium 2, and we are writing 1, it means with respect to 1 in comparison to medium 1, and we will write the value of speed of light of medium of which we are finding the refractive index in denominator, and in numerator we will write the speed of light of medium from which, or with respect to which we are comparing. So always remember, in the formulas, in this absolute refractive index, we have taken medium in denominator. We in n to 1 means refractive index of 2 with respect to 1. In that case also we have taken medium 2 in denominator. But if we want to write the reverse formula, that if ray of light is going from medium 2 to medium 1, then we will write n12, means it will give the refractive index of medium 1 with respect to 2. In that case, again we will write the speed of light of medium 1 in denominator and speed of light in medium 2 in numerator, and v2 by v1. v2 is the speed of light in medium 2 and v1 is the speed of light in medium 1. Now the question based on this refractive index, the refractive index of water is 1.33. This is given in your NCERT book. So what does it mean? So you will write that it means that the ratio of speed of light in air and the speed of light in water is equal to 1.33. It means that speed of light in water is 1.33 times less than the speed of light in vacuum. Or we can write that speed of light in vacuum is 1.33 times more than the speed of light in water. We can write in any way. In the same way, another question can come there, that if refractive index of crown glass is equal to 1.52, what does it mean? You will answer it accordingly, that it means that the speed of light in crown glass is 1.52 times less as compared to the speed of light in air. Next is refractive index of medium 2 with respect to 1, and we are going to derive this formula where we will find that the refractive index of 2 with respect to 1 is equal to the ratio of refractive index of medium 2 divided by the refractive index of medium 1. For that we will write the formula that n21 means refractive index of 2 with respect to 1 is speed of light in medium 1 divided by speed of medium light in medium 2. And 2 means it is telling about absolute refractive index, or simply we can say refractive index of medium 2. So in this case we will write speed of light in medium 2 in denominator and speed of light in vacuum in numerator. N1 is speed of light in medium. Speed of light in medium 1 with respect to vacuum. So we will write the speed of light in medium 1 in denominator and vacuum in numerator. When we will divide N2 and N1, then by solving this, finally we will get this equation number 4. And by comparing equation 1 and 4, we derive this formula that N21, that is refractive index of 2 with respect to 1, is equal to the ratio of refractive index of medium 2 divided by refractive index of medium 1, and it is equal to speed of light in medium 1 divided by speed of light in medium 2. So finally we can observe that while writing the formula of refractive index of two mediums, so the refractive index of 2 with respect to 1, if we are writing it in terms of refractive index, then it will be 2 by 1, and if we are writing it in the terms of speed, then it will be the speed of light in medium 2 will be in denominator and speed of light in medium 1 will be in numerator. So let us discuss some activity based questions upon refraction. Activity 10.7 given in your NCERT, that place a coin at the bottom of a bucket filled with water. With your eye to a side above water, try to pick up the coin in one go. Did you succeed in picking up the coin? You have to do this activity at your home. Answer will be no. Why can't you be successful in picking up the coin? This is because when viewed obliquely, the coin appeared to be raised due to refraction of light. That's why we are not able to pick up the coin in one go. Activity 10.8, that place a large shallow ball on a table and put a coin in it. Move away slowly from the ball and stop when the coin just appears from your sight. Initially you were able to see the coin, but if you are moving away, then at a position you are not able to see that coin, it is out of sight, and at that point you will stand and you will ask a friend to pour water gently into the ball without disturbing the coin. Keep looking for the coin from your position. Does the coin become visible again from your position? And how could it happen? Yes, it will be visible again. From that position, initially it was not visible, but when your friend pours some water in that ball, then that start visible for you. So why it happened? This is because the pouring of water raises the image of coin due to refraction of light. A virtual image of coin was formed a little bit higher position, and then you are able to see the coin. In the same way, activity 10.9, you will draw a thick straight line in ink on a paper, and you will place a glass slab over that line in such a way that one of its edges make an angle with the line. Means you are placing the glass slab obliquely on the line. Now look at the portion of the line under the slab from the sides. What you observe? Does the line under the glass slab appear to be bent at the edges? The answer will be yes. When you will do this activity and you will put a glass slab over a line, then you will feel that line is appear to be bent at the edges. Next, you will place the glass slab such that it is normal to the line. What you will observe now? Does the part of line under the glass slab appear bent? Now it will not appear to be bent, because in normal, when we place it in normal position, then the incident ray will go straight way and it will not seems to be bent, because the that line will not that ray of light will not bend. Look at the line from the top of the glass slab. Now, does the part of line beneath the slab appear to be raised? Why does it happen? So, these are the answers of the questions, as it will appear to be raised due to refraction of light, and you will not see the bent when you will place it in normal, because it in this case I is equal to R is equal to 0, as we discussed in rule number 3. Now, next activity 10.10, that is refraction of light through rectangular glass slab. So, when you will place some pins on one end and you will view these pins from the other edge of the glass slab. Suppose you put the pins on this side and you observe these images of pins on this other edge, then you will do this when you will do this experiment, you will observe that this ray of light is bent. So when a ray of light passes through a rectangular glass slab, it gets bent twice at the air glass interface and the glass air interface. This is air glass interface and this is glass air interface. Interface means the plane surface which is separating two medium. The emergent ray is parallel to incident ray and is displaced through a distance. So you can see this is a glass slab and this is air, this is normal and this is incident ray. The angle between normal and incident ray is angle of incidence. This ray would have gone in this direction if it would have not bent, but as it passes through the glass slab, its speed decreases and it bends towards the normal. So this is angle of refraction, that is angle between normal and refracted ray. And this is again normal and the ray of light would have come along this direction, but no, it is not coming, because again there is change of medium. Now the ray of light is coming from glass to air, so it go away from the normal, and the angle between this ray of light is angle emergent ray, and the angle between emergent ray and normal is angle of emergence. Now one more thing you can notice, that this is the original direction of incident ray and this is actual this is original direction of incident ray and this is actually emergent ray, and these both are parallel to each other. Secondly, there is a vertical distance between this incident ray and this emergent ray. So this vertical distance is known as lateral displacement, or we can say lateral shift. Now let us discuss some questions based on this glass slab activity. Question number 1. The emergent ray is parallel to incident ray in glass slab. Why? This is because the extent of bending of ray of light at the opposite parallel faces, that is air glass interface and glass air interface of rectangular glass slab, is equal and opposite. Extent of bending of ray of light is equal and opposite, and both exist in the same medium, that is in air. This is why the ray emergent parallel to the incident ray. And this question can be asked in the exam as the angle I, that is angle of incidence, is equal to angle E, that is angle of emergence. Why? The answer will be same, because these both angles are existing in the same medium, that is in air, and also the extent of bending of ray of light at opposite parallel faces is same. Question number 2. What happens when a light ray is incident normally to the glass slab? So the light rays passes straight without bending. No doubt speed of light decreases in glass slab, but it will not bend from its path. In this case, angle I will equal to angle R. Question number 3. What is lateral displacement or lateral shift, and also write the different factors on which it depends. So perpendicular distance between path traced by incident ray and emergent ray coming out the glass slab is known as lateral displacement, and factors, it is directly proportional to refractive index of glass slab. More is the refractive index of glass slab and less will be the speed of light in this glass slab, and more will be lateral shift. Next is thickness of glass slab. More is the thickness of glass slab, more path the ray of light have to be cover along with the glass slab, and more will be lateral shift or lateral displacement. Angle of incidence, more is the angle of incidence, more will be lateral shift. Next is questions based on some phenomena of refraction of light. When you will open your NCERT book, on the first page when the topic starts, you will get these questions, that the bottom of a tank or a pond containing water appears to be raised. Why? So this is due to refraction of light. A virtual image of bottom of tank is formed at a higher position. Therefore, the bottom of a tank or a pond containing water appears to be raised. So if there is a question of 1 mark, then this much is enough. But if there is question of 3 marks, then you should draw the diagram and you have to give the proper explanation. Let this is the bottom of the pond of water. This is point P at the bottom of water tank, and rays of light, that is PA and PA dash. These get refracted away from the normal as they are going from denser to rarer. So they will bend away from the normal at the water air interface along AB and A dash B dash respectively. When these refracted rays are extended backward, these meet at point P dash, where the bottom of tank appears, which is raised as compared to point P. Next question, when a thick glass slab is placed over some printed matter, the letters appear raised when viewed through the glass slab. This is again due to refraction of light. Next question, a pencil partly immersed in water in a glass tumbler, it appears to be displaced or broken. So this is also due to refraction of light. A virtual image of pencil tip is formed at a higher position. If a pencil is obliquely dipped in water, it appears to be bent because rays of light bend away from the normal, and when these rays are projected backward, they appear to meet at point P. Thus, an observer sees a raised or a displaced position of a pencil. You can see that this is the actual position of pencil, and as the rays of light are going from this position to the inside the water, from the water going into the air, so they bend from the normal, and this is another, it also bend from the away from the normal, and when we will back meet this, then they will meet here, and we see the tip of the pencil at this point B dash, and therefore we see this bend or disappears. Next is a lemon kept in water in a glass tumbler appear to be bigger than its actual size. This is also due to refraction of light. Virtual image of a lemon is formed at a higher position. The question is, important question, that does a pencil appear to be displaced to the same extent if instead of water we use liquids like kerosene or turpentine? Kerosene or turpentine are also transparent liquids. So if we change the medium, that the ray of light is going from the after striking with the pencil from a kerosene oil to air, then will the bend will be same? Or this question can be of the another type, that will the latter appear to rise to the same height if we replace a glass slab with a transparent plastic slab? So answer of both the above questions will be no, because the extent of the effect of bending is different for different pair of media, as different media have different refractive index, so different speed of light, and so different will be the bending. Now in text questions of page number 176. First question, a ray of light traveling in air enters obliquely into water. Does the light ray bend towards the normal or away from the normal? As it is going from air to water, so it is going from rarer to water, so it will bend towards the normal. Question number 2, light enters from air into glass having refractive index 1.50. So we have given the refractive index of glass. What is speed of light in glass? We have to find speed. We will write the given values, and the speed of light in vacuum is given to us. So C is denoting the speed of light in vacuum, and V is denoting the speed of light in glass. So we will put the values in formula, that is n equal to C by V. In this formula we will put V on this side and on n on this side. So we will get this formula and we will put the values, and finally we find the answer, that is 2 into 10 raised to power 8. You have to do these questions yourself. Question number 3, that find out from table 10.3 the medium having highest optical density. So this table 10.3 is given on page number 175 in your NCERT book, and you have to observe the refractive index of all the mediums given there, and you have to observe and find that which is having lowest optical density. So as we discussed till now, that less is the refractive index, less will be the optical density. So the material which is having less refractive index, it will have lowest optical density. Now you are given kerosene, turpentine and water. Three mediums we have given, and in which of these does the light travel fastest? So you have to use the information of table 10.3. In that table refractive index values are given. So the refractive index of medium is given by expression, that is refractive index equal to speed of light in air divided by speed of light in medium. So this expression shows that light travels fastest in medium whose refractive index is minimum. So this shows that water has the minimum value of refractive index, therefore light travel fastest in water. In comparison to these three liquids we are comparing, and the water have, out of these three, the water have lowest refractive index. Question number 5, the same refractive index of diamond is 2.42. What is mean? It means that the light travels 2.42 times faster in vacuum than in diamond. After that we have to try to solve some numericals based on these formulas of refractive index, and we have to read it again and again. Thank you.